Okay, greetings out there. We're going to start with question 8 of the practice quiz. We did 1 through 7 during class, and we got those right, so we're on a roll. Let's see what we got here. Here's question 8 right before us, and it is asking for what? Let's see what it's asking for. Which of the following statements is true? The manager will most likely not invest. Well, we have to now see what the facts are. A manager is being evaluated based on ROI. So we know what ROI is. Corporate minimum required rate of return is 11%. And the manager runs a division that has 14%. That's pretty good. 14% return on investment. So let's see. A, the manager will most likely not invest in a project that has a return on investment of 13%. Well, that makes sense that he should do that. So we're going to say that A looks good. The manager will invest in all projects. No. Why should he? If he can get 14%, so he should go for at least 14%. So that's no good. The manager will not consider a project. That's dumb. C is a dumb answer. The manager may prefer to invest in projects that have a return on investment that is very close to 11%. Well, yeah, that's really cool because that's the required minimum for the company. But if you're getting 14%, you should be exploit that. Go for that. Increase that division if it can continue to do 14%. So the best answer is do not take your money and invest in a project that has less than a 14% rate of return, maybe even giving up the one that you already have. Why would you do that? All right, I think that's self-explanatory. Which brings us to a very complicated problem in the sense that we got to do a lot of arithmetic and math and formulation, but it's good to give good practice on how to do two of the issues, which is the issue of ROI, return on investment, and at the same time, it will give us good practice on doing residual income, because that's what the problem's all about. So how do you know? You look to the question, and you see what the question has to say. So what we have to do is see what choices we've got down here, because it's asking which subsidiary has added the most to shareholder value. We got Yard Cycling has a higher ROI, so we're going to need to know if that's true. Paper Cycling has a higher residual income. Actually, these are both recycling. So we're going to have to know if that's true. Both contributed equally in different ways. We certainly makes an interesting discussion. And more information is needed to determine the answer. So if we want to know which subsidiary of these two has the most to give shareholder value, well, we got some numbers to crank because we want to know about the ROI, we want to know about the residual income before we try to answer the question. So let's go back and let's see how we do the calculations. All right, so we're on to calculating both ROI and residual income for both classes, yard and paper, and let's see how it all works out. I'm going to move up here and still have places to show the numbers. Let's start with yard, recycling, and see what we come up with here. The way I do these things is I first figure out the major components I'm going to need to know, which is let's figure out what our NOPAT is going to be. So NOPAT, net operating profit after tax. And the formula is take the net income, so that's 1.5. So add the interest expense, which had been deducted from that, so that's 600K, and then subtract from that the amount of the interest expense tax effect, which at 30% of 600 is 180K. So that's what we're going to do. Now I got the calculator out. Do the math. 1,000,005 plus the 600 minus the 180, and you get 1,000,092. So let's do the following. Let's make it easier to keep the board a little bit cleaner. 1,920,000,000. All right, so that's that. Now we need to know what the capital account's going to be, the capital investment account, and that's, according to the formula, that is our total assets minus not interest-bearing current liabilities, otherwise known as NIBCL, and they give you the information, so it's 7.5 million. This is also a million. Should be the best way to say it. is 1.92. All right, so now we can actually do ROI, but before doing that, let's figure out the cost of capital, because we're going to need that for residual income anyway. Cost of capital is the 7.5 multiplied by the cost of capital given to us in the problem, and there you see it, 7%. So 7.5 million times 7% is 525. So that's our cost of capital, 525K. So it turns out that the ROI, when we do the math, is going to be 1,920,000 over 7.5 million, and that equals 26% when I round it. And then the RI is going to be simply the 1,920,000 income minus the 525,000, the cost of capital, or 1,395,000. Now I'll do the same thing on the other side for paper. So let's do that. And I'm going to walk through it quickly because you can try this at home. But let's see. We're going to first do what's our NOPAT. So the NOPAT here turns out to be, I'm just going to do it on my calculator, but if I'll say it out loud. I take the net income of 2,006,000, and I'm going to add to that 2,006,000. I'm going to add to that the interest expense, which is 800. I'm going to subtract from that the tax effect of the interest expense, which is 32% of 800. So that number is 256,000. So 2,006,000 plus 800,000 minus 256,000 gives us a NOPAT of 3144000. And then I want to know what's my investment, total assets minus non-interest-bearing current liabilities. Well, they give us all that. So it's 14 million because it's 15 million minus the 1. Just look at the problem and don't write too many zeros there like I just did. So you got that and that. That gets you to 14 million. Now to get to the ROI, it's the 3,144 million, which is our net income as adjusted for our return on investment over our investment of 14 million, and we will see that we get 22% when we round it, which is lower than Yard. So now we know that the ROI on paper is not as good as it is on Yard, and now we have to just see what residual income becomes. So residual income will be the 3,14400, that's this number right here, minus the cost of capital. Oh, I forgot to figure out the cost of capital. So cost of capital is going to turn out to be 14 million times 9%, because that's the problem tells us, 9%. So that number will be 1,26,000. That's the cost of capital. So now 3,144,000 minus the cost of capital. 3,144,000 is our income, our NOPAT income, I should say, minus the cost of capital will give us a number that's going to be our RI, and that is 1,884,000. So now we see that when we're given the choices up here, back to the problem of the choices there, yard recycling has a higher return of investment. It has a higher ROI. Did I do that right? Hold on. Yeah, I think I did it right, but the answer is not going to turn out to be A, because B, paper recycling has a higher residual income, and that's true. And the result is that we're now seeing that residual income is being taught to us in this problem as the more important concept, the more important contribution made to a business, because it's the dollars and cents. Return on investment is a percentage. We said it in class. You could make a 50% ROI in one investment and a 20% ROI on another investment, but if the 20% ROI investment is yielding you $1 million income and the 50% ROI projects only yielding you 100,000 income, which one will you take? You'll take the one yielding $1 million. And so that's what this problem, because A is correct, but the best answer is B. You wouldn't pick C, both contribute equally in different ways, because they're not equal. That's what the problem's teaching us. So the problem is indeed teaching us that the ROI guy, that's the guy down here, is the more important of the two. Woo. Okay. Tough problem there. Let's do one or two more. Let's see what we got here. Which of the following methods of setting a transfer price? Okay, so arm's length, the easiest and best way to get arm's length is what's the market price? Answer C. If you're not sure, go back and read the area, but all these other A, B, and D choices might be good for estimating market price, but if you know the market price, that's the best bet. That's really arm's length. That's what arm's length means. What is the market price? Okay, let's see. 13, we're going to stop here. There's been enough time spent on these questions. Did I miss any? Nope, we're good. All right.